Hi guys, got a video today on algebraic modeling, and this is from chapter 5G in your textbook. So when we talk about algebraic modeling, it is really getting you to think about a problem and creating a way that you could model that scenario using algebra, okay? So many situations can be modeled with algebraic expressions. And another way you could think about it is like a real practical application of algebra. So you might be asked to do one of two things, or both of these. So to apply an expression, pronumerals should be defined clearly. So firstly, you should be able to know what the pronumeral is. That doesn't mean like x equals a number, for example. It really means, what does x represent? So does it represent something per hour? Does it mean the number of footballs? Does it mean the number of people? Okay, so you should have an idea of what the pronumeral actually equals. And then once you know that, you would add values in. So let's say, for example, x equals the number of people. Then you might do a problem that requires you to deal with 3 people. So you would say x equals 3. So, like I was saying, we can do one of two things. So create or use an expression for a given situation. So you might have to think about what an expression might be and create it, or they might give it to you, and or substitute a value in to come up with the final answer. Now, we have done substitution and evaluating before, which you guys really were good at, so you won't have any problems there, I don't think. So let's do some examples. All right, so here we've got a triangle, and we know a lot in measurement we use pronumerals to represent different things. So here, for example, we've got B as a pronumeral representing base, B for base, and H here, the height of a triangle. And the area of a triangle is BH over 2 in algebraic form. If we were going to say that formula, we would say base times height divided by 2. Okay, and that's written there, B for base, H for height. So this question says, find the area if base is 7 and height is 10. So this formula that we've got up here works for any kind of triangle, but depending on what the B and H equals would be your answer to what area is for any particular triangle. So this one has a base of 7 centimeters and a height of 10. So I'm going to rewrite my formula, BH over 2, okay? And then, like we always do, we're going to have every step really clearly set out. So B is 7 times H, which is 10, divided by 2. Okay, 7 times 10 divided by 2 equals 35. Now, something that you'll need to be very careful of is making sure you write a unit of something down here. So this is a measurement question, and in the question it has centimeters. So my answer is in centimeters, but because this is an area question, centimeters squared. Okay, so be conscious of checking that. So what are you working with? Are you working with dollars? Is it a measurement thing? Is it some other kind of unit that you would need to write down? Also be really careful that if you're dealing with something like measurement, for example, that your units of measurement are the same. And if they're not, you need to make them the same before you begin. Okay, so that's a little trick there that sometimes comes up. All right, let's look at another question. I've got 2 here. Let's look at the first one. So the total cost in dollars of 10 bottles if each bottle costs X dollars. Now you'll notice with this question, I don't know how much the bottles cost. It's not actually asking me to come to a final answer. So this is asking me to create an expression. Okay? So I don't need to know what X is, and try not to get hung up on always knowing what the pronumeral equals, because sometimes you don't need to answer the question. It's not about finding a final answer. It's about forming an expression in this case. Okay, so 10 bottles, And if each bottle costs X dollars, that means I need to times. Okay, so 10 bottles at however much each. And I would write that algebraically 10 with an X right next to it. I don't need a multiplication sign in there. And that's my final answer. Now that question might go on to say, if each bottle costs $3, or if X equals 3, find the total cost of 10. And now that you have an expression, you could do that. Okay. Here's an example where it does just that. So find the total cost in dollars of hiring a plumber for N hours. The plumber charges $30 call out fee and then $50 per hour. Write an expression and then how much would an 8-hour job cost? Okay, so very important that you highlight the key info here. Let's do that first. So total cost is what the question's asking you for as an expression. N is the pronumeral that they've asked you to use. Okay, the plumber charges $30 call out fee and then $50 per hour. Okay, write an expression and then how much would it cost for 8. Alright, so let's tackle A first. So I always do a little summary of the question straight underneath because that process helps me understand the question a little more. So N equals hours, $30 call out fee, and that's really common with people who are working as a trade. So if you're a plumber or an electrician, or even like a snake catcher, I noticed the other day when I was looking for a number to save on my phone because we had a snake in our house. They have a call out fee, so like a one-up payment of something, and then they then charge like per hour for however long they're there for, because lots of the time they don't know how long a job's going to take, so they charge by the hour as well. Okay, and that means if like they're only there for half an hour, you know, they're going to make enough money to make it worth their while to come out to you. So then $50 per hour. Okay, so let's say cost is going to be at the front as what I'm trying to find, because that's what it is, total cost. I've got N hours and then plus $50 per hour. Now I also need to include my $30 original fee that just gets added on at the end of the final cost. Now when I look at this, I've put times to begin with, which was what my instinct told me to do, and then I've changed it to plus. Now if I think about that, I've got hours plus 50 per hour plus 30. That doesn't seem right. So I'm going to change this to 50 times N plus 30. So that's a cross there, not a times, I should say. So I've had a go at what I think the expression might look like, and then I've read it and gone, nah, it just doesn't make sense. So now if I write this in algebraic form, that would be without the times there. Let's see if that makes sense. So $50 per hour, hour is my N in this case, plus 30. I think that looks about right. Okay, so that would be what my cost equals for the plumber, and that's what he or she would model their finances on. Okay, that's how much I'm going to make per hour, or per call out as well, depending on the hours. Now that's A. Let's look at B. How much would an 8-hour job cost? Okay, so 8 hours. Okay, so cost would equal, and my formula is 50N plus 30, my expression, sorry. So 50, the number of hours in this part of the question is 8. Okay, always paying attention to order of operations, but it is nicely and easily set out there for us. So that would be 400 plus 30, $430. Again, checking that what I'm answering with is what the question's asked me. So, oops. Sorry guys, hadn't looked at my screen to show you where I was. So I'll do that again, sorry, so you can follow. 50n plus 30 is my expression. 50 times 8, because it's 8 hours, and n is the number of hours in my expression, plus the $30 call out fee. So that makes that 400 plus 30, $430 altogether. Again, making sure, like I was going to say, that you have the unit of measurement or unit of whatever it is asking you in the question. So it's $1 because we're looking for the cost. Alright, lastly, before I finish this video, I'm going to show you something that I wrote down, and I'll pop a copy of this on the Google Classroom for you. So with these sorts of questions, and I have mentioned it before, it's really great to have a bank of vocabulary that you're familiar with for each of our 4 mathematical operations. So some of the words that they use won't be really obvious, okay? As in, it won't tell you, won't give you a really clear indication of what operation you should be using in your expression. So it's really great to know these. You probably know lots of them already. So when we have addition, we've got words like combined, total, altogether, add, sum, plus, increase, and there's some more as well, but that's, you know, a good base to start with. Subtraction, we've got subtract, of course, minus, less, difference, decrease, take away, and deduct. Multiply, we've got multiplication, multiply, product, by, times, lots of, or groups of. And then for division, we've got divide, division. Divide, quotient goes into how many times, can sometimes be mean divide, or it could mean multiply as well, so be careful there. And then equal groups too. Okay, so I might just take a quick photo of that and pop that on the Google Classroom as well. Alright, good luck.